Hello, I welcome to UPSC Prelims Chaturya series of SHANTHA LAKSHMI IAS Academy, where we will discuss the daily prelims MCQs from the Hindu, Indian Express and PIB. Let's get started. The first question. Consider the following statements with respect to the Financial Action Task Force. Financial Action Task Force is an intergovernmental body established in 1989 on the initiative of the G20. Countries that are considered a safe haven for supporting terror funding and money laundering are put on the FATF grey list. 3 countries, North Korea, Iran and Myanmar, are currently in FATF blacklist. How many of the statement given above are correct? Only one, only two, all three, none of the above. This was in news recently. The Financial Action Task Force has found that many countries are yet to fully implement its requirements aimed at preventing misuse of virtual assets and virtual asset service providers. About FATF, FATF is an intergovernmental policy making and standard setting body dedicated to combating money laundering and terrorist financing. Objective to establish international standards and to develop and to promote policies both at national and international levels to combat money laundering and financing of terrorism. Origin, it was established in 1989 during the G7 summit in Paris to develop policies against money laundering. In 2001, its mandate expanded to include terrorism financing. Headquarters, Paris, France. FATF members include 39 countries, including the US, India, China, Saudi Arabia, Britain, Germany, France, and EU as such. India became a member of FATF in 2010. What are FATF grey list and blacklist? Blacklist countries known as non-cooperative countries or territories are put on the blacklist. These countries support terror funding and money laundering activities. The FATF revises the blacklist regularly, adding or deleting entries. Grey list countries that are considered a safe haven for supporting terror funding and money laundering are put on the FATF grey list. This incursion serves as a warning to the country that it may enter the blacklist. 3 countries, North Korea, Iran and Myanmar, are currently in FATF's blacklist. Consequence of being on the FATF blacklist, no financial aid is given to them by the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank and European Union. They also face a number of international economic and financial restrictions and sanctions. So the answer is only 2 because Financial Action Task Force is an intergovernmental body established in 1989 on the initiative of the G7, not the G20. Moving to the next question. Gagan Shakti 2024 exercise recently conducted by Indian Air Force at which place? Option A, Pokhran. Option B, Ajmer. Option C, Jodhpur. Option D, Jaipur. The Indian Air Force is set to conduct Gagan Shakti 2024, the nation's largest air military exercise involving all Air Force stations. Held every 5 years, it will commence on April 1st, 2024 at Pokhran's Field Firing Range. Approximately 10,000 airmen will participate with maneuvers spanning the western and northern fronts. The Indian Army is aiding logistical support, ensuring synergy across the sector for operational rail mobilization. So the answer is option A, Pokhran. Moving to the next question. Consider the following statements about Kondareddy tribe. They inhabited on both the banks of the Godavari River in the hilly forest region of Khammam and Srikakulam. Kondareddys have been recognized as a particularly vulnerable tribal group by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. They cultivate largely jowar, which is their staple food. How many of the statement given above are not correct? Only one, only two, all three, none of the above. The indigenous knowledge of the Kondareddy tribe, a particularly vulnerable tribal group inhabiting the Papikonda hill range in the Godavari region has proven resources full. About Kondareddy tribe, Kondareddis is a particularly vulnerable tribal group inhabiting the banks of the river Godavari and also in the hilly forest tracts of Godavari and the Khammam district of Andhra Pradesh. Their mother tongue is Telugu in its purest and chaste form with a unique accent. Subdivision, the Kondareddy tribe is divided into exogamous septs for regulating and matrimonial relations. Like other Telugu-speaking people, their surnames are prefixed to individual names. Generally, each sept is exogamous, but certain septs are considered as brother septs, and the marriage alliance with the brother septs are prohibited. Family and marriage. The family is patriarchal and patrilocal. Monogamy is a rule, but polygamous families are also found. Marriage by negotiation, by love and elopement, by service, by capture, and by exchange or socially accepting ways of acquiring mates. Religion, the primary religion practiced by the Kondareddy is a folk Hinduism characterized by local traditions and cults of local deities worshipped at the community level. Political organization of this Kondareddy tribe, they have their own institution of social control called Kula Panchayat. Each village has a traditional headman called Peddakapu. The office of the headman is hereditary and the headman is also the pujari of the village deities. Livelihood, they are primarily shifting cultivators and largely depend on flora and fauna of the forest for their livelihood. They collected and sell non-timber forest produce like tamarind, adda leaves, and myrobalan, broomsticks, etc. to implement their meager income. They cultivate largely jowar, which is their staple food. So the answer is none of the above because all the statement given above are correct. Moving to the next question. With reference to the Madagascar, consider the following statement. Located off the coast of East Africa in the Indian Ocean, Madagascar is the second largest island country in the world. Tropic of Capricorn passes through Madagascar. Mozambique Channel passes through the Madagascar and Morocco. How many of the statement given above are correct? Only one, only two, all three, none of the above. A tropical cyclone named Gamane that swept across the island of Madagascar killed at least 18 people and displaced thousands more, the country's disaster management office said recently. About Madagascar, located off the coast of East Africa in the Indian Ocean, Madagascar is the second largest island country in the world. It covers an area of 5,92,800 square kilometer. Geography, the country can be divided into three parallel longitudinal physiographic regions. Tropic of Capricorn passes through Madagascar. The coastal strip in the east, the central plateau and the western regions of low plateaus and the plains. Mozambique Channel passes through the Madagascar and Mozambique. Saratanana Massif region at the northern end of the island is home to Madagascar's highest point, Maromokotro, at 2,876 meters. History. Capital Antananarivo and languages Malagasy and French. And government, it is a semi-presidential republic. The public elects a president who in turn appoints a prime minister to put together a cabinet to advise the president. Economy, 80% of Madagascar economy is fueled by agricultural industries, including forestry and fishing. Among the island's most frequently sold agricultural products are coffee, vanilla, and sugarcane. Biodiversity, lush rainforests, dry deserts, and grassy plains cover the island, with coral reefs and mangrove forests stretching along its coastlines. Almost 90% of the plants and animals living on Madagascar aren't found anywhere else in the world. That's because strong ocean currents have isolated the island from African continent, so the species living there haven't traveled beyond the island borders. So the answer is only 2 because Mozambique channel passes through the Madagascar and Mozambique, not Morocco. Moving to the next question. Choose correct one with respect to the Central Pollution Control Board. It is a statutory organization. It is also entrusted with the powers and functions under the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act in 1981. Which of the statement given above is are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one or two. Recently, the Central Pollution Control Board has spent only 20% of the environmental protection charge and environmental compensation collected so far on mitigating air pollution in Delhi NCR and protecting the environment. About CPCB, it is a statutory organization constituted in September 1974 under the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. Further, CPC has been entrusted with the powers and functions under the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. It provides technical services to the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change of the provisions of the Environment Act 1986 and advises the central government on any matter concerning the prevention and control of water and air pollution and the improvement of the quality of air. Principal functions of the CPCB to promote the cleanliness of streams and wells in different areas of the states by prevention, control and abatement of water pollution, to improve the quality of air and to prevent, control or abate air pollution in the country. Standardization activity of CPCB. CPCB lays down standards for streams or wells in consultation with the state governments and also lays down standards for the quality of air. CPCB also prepares manuals, code, and guidelines relating to the treatment and disposal of sewage and to trade effluents, as well as the stack place cleaning devices and stacks and ducts. In general, the following 9 categories of standards are developed by CPCB. One was national ambient air quality and water quality criteria from different sources. Standards for emissions or discharge of environmental pollutants from various industries. Issues under the Environmental Protection Rules 1986. Standards for treatment and disposal of biomedical waste by incinerations. Guidelines for the disposal of common hazardous waste by incineration. Emission norms for vehicles and auto fuel quality. Emission standards. Noise limits for diesel engines. Emissions and noise limit of LPG and CNG generator sets. Apart from the above, under the Comprehensive Industry Document Series, CPCB also formulates the minimal national standards specific for various categories of industries with regard to their effluent recharge, emissions, noise levels, solid waste. These standards are required to be adopted by the state government as a minimal standards. So the answer is both 1 and 2 are correct. Thank you. This is the today's session.